If you're playing pickleball here in Australia, wow, you've probably seen how much it's exploded, right?
Oh, absolutely. Courts are popping up everywhere.
It really has.
Yeah.
And with all that growth, there's this key question. How do we actually measure skill levels fairly?
Exactly. And that's what we're digging into today.
We are. We're focusing on the brand new official rating system for Pickleball Australia.
DUPR. Okay.
And yeah, it's a big deal. It's going to be the standard for how players are rated in, all the official stuff, sanctioned tournaments, leagues, events, the works.
Right. So why should players, our listeners, really care about this change?
Well, if you play in any of those sanctioned events, your DUPR rating is basically your new passport. It determines your division, maybe your seeding.
Yeah.
It's all about making sure the competition is fair.
Yeah, I saw that quote from Brendan Lee at Pickleball Australia. He called DUPR the gold standard, didn't he? He said it gives Aussie players access to the most accurate system.
He did. The idea is it levels the playing field, makes the competition better because people are playing against others genuinely at their level. It's a real step up for Aussie pickleball.
So our mission today, then, is to really unpack this. What is DUPR? Why are we using it now? And crucially, what does it mean for you, the player on the court? We want to cut through any confusion.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's start simple. What is DUPR in layman's terms?
Okay, so DUPR. The key word is dynamic, unlike some systems where your rating might kind of sit there for a while.
Right, fairly static.
Exactly. DUPR changes. It updates constantly based on your actual match results against other players who also have a DUPR rating.
So it's always learning, kind of.
Sort of, yeah. And it's clever. It doesn't just look at win-loss. It considers who you played against, what their rating was. It's trying to get a really precise, evolving measure of your skill.
Interesting. So it's not just a simple points exchange.
No, it's more sophisticated. It uses a statistical model looking at the probability of you winning against different rated opponents. The more you play, the more data it has, the more accurate it gets.
Makes sense. So that leads to the next question. Why the switch? Why did PA go for DUPR?
Well, the main driver seems to be wanting a system that's more globally recognized. And accurate, of course.
Okay, so international standardization plays a part.
DUPR is used pretty widely overseas, seen as robust, reliable. Like Brendan Lee said, it's about accuracy, fair competition. Adopting it aligns Australia with that global benchmark. Good for players who travel or just want to see how they stack up internationally.
Right. Global standard. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's talk practicalities then. How do I register for this DUPR?
First step is crucial. Every player needs to actually register for a DUPR account.
So I need to create a profile, put my details in?
Exactly. Just set yourself up in their system.
Okay, done that. Now, how do I get my rating? It doesn't just appear. Right?
No, unfortunately not magic. You primarily get your rating by playing. Specifically, playing in sanctioned events that use the DUPR system.
So the results feed the system.
Precisely. Your match results get recorded. The DUPR algorithm does its thing, analyzes your performance, calculates an initial rating, and then it keeps adjusting as you play more.
So playing in those events is key.
Absolutely. That's how you establish it and keep it current.
Okay, what about this scenario? I'm pretty new, maybe haven't played many rated events, so I don't have a rating yet. But I end up playing against people who do. What happens then?
The system still watches, even if you're unrated initially. It tracks those matches against rated players. Based on your results against them, who beat you, their ratings, DUPR gathers data.
And eventually gives me a rating.
Yeah, enough data points, and it'll calculate one for you. So even those early matches count. They're important.
Gotcha. And how often does this rating change, like after every single game I play?
Not quite every game within a match, no. It's typically after each match result is logged officially.
Okay, per match.
Yeah. So how often it changes really depends on how often you're playing in those sanctioned events. Play more data, more potential for your rating to adjust and reflect where you're truly at.
Right. Now, I've seen this term reliability factor mentioned with DUPR. What's that all about?
The reliability factor. That's actually quite neat. Think of it as, well, how confident the system is about your rating.
Confident? How so?
It's mainly based on the number of rated matches you've played. If you played loads of matches, your reliability score would be higher. The system's basically saying, yeah, we've seen a lot of this player. This rating is probably pretty solid.
Compared to someone who's only played a few.
Exactly. Their rating might be less stable, less certain. So the reliability score reflects that. It can be important, especially now during the transition, or if people are asking to play down a division.
Okay, like having more evidence to back up the number.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right, that makes sense. Now let's get into the numbers a bit. I heard there was some analysis comparing the old PAA ratings to these new DUPR ones.
Yes, that's right. Louw from the PAA Advisory Committee did a fair bit of number crunching, looked at, I think, around 5,500 double player records.
Wow. Okay. Big data set.
Yeah, and it really highlighted some pretty interesting differences between the old and new systems.
Okay, lay it on us. What did the numbers show?
Well, the big headline figure was that, on average, DUPR ratings are coming out about 0.6 points higher than the old PAA ratings for the same players.
0.6. That sounds like quite a jump.
It is significant. So what does that mean? Let's say you were rated 2.6 under the old PAA system for doubles. Your DUPR rating is likely going to land somewhere around 3.2, maybe even a touch higher.
Really? So everyone gets a bump, effectively?
On average, yes. It feels like the whole scale has sort of shifted upwards a bit, so players will see a noticeably higher number next to their name.
Wow, okay. 0.6 average increase. Did that change how players are spread across the skill categories too, like the 2.5s, 3.0s, et cetera?
Absolutely, a massive shift there. Under the old PAA system, in that data set, something like 63% of players were rated 2.99 or lower.
Okay, nearly two-thirds.
Right. But with DUPR, that same group, evaluated by DUPR, only made up about 23%.
Whoa. From 63% down to 23%, where did everyone go?
It moved up.
Interesting perspective. So fewer people down low. What about at the top end, the 4.0s and above?
That's the flip side. That category, 4.0 plus 2, used to be pretty small under PAA ratings, maybe 6% of the players in the study.
Right.
Under DUPR, that jumped to 26%.
26%. That's a huge increase.
It really is.
Yeah.
It strongly suggests DUPR just rates people higher across the board, which, leads to this big reshuffling of who fits where in terms of tournament division.
Well, it definitely sounds like it. So with these ratings potentially jumping up, are there any, safety nets or transition measures? I think I read something about a 0.250 threshold.
Yes, exactly. PAA knows this is a shift, so they put in a temporary buffer. It's a 0.250 rating point threshold within a division.
Okay, what does that mean practically?
It means during this transition phase, when you're looking at divisions, there's that little bit of leeway, 0.250 points below the division's upper limit that they'll consider.
Ah, small buffer zone. Got it. Okay, let's get right into the nitty-gritty then. How did this impact me when I actually go to sign up for a tournament now?
Right, the most direct change. From now on, registration for sanctioned tournaments is based purely on your DUPR rating. That's the number they'll use to decide which divisions you can enter.
Okay, DUPR rating is king, but what if my new DUPR rating feels, I don't know, a bit high for where I think I am, especially at the start? Is there any wiggle room? You mentioned maybe requesting to play down.
Yes, there is a process for that, but it's not automatic. You can request to enter a lower skill division than your rating technically puts you in, but PAA has set out pretty clear criteria for evaluating those requests.
Okay, not just, I feel like playing lower today.
No, definitely not. They look at three main things.
What are they?
Okay, first, your actual DUPR rating. It needs to be within that 0.250 buffer of the top end of the lower division you want to enter. Remember that threshold we just talked about?
Right, the 0.250 leeway.
Got it. Second, your reliability score comes into play. PAA has said a score of 80 or higher generally means your rating is pretty stable and accurate. So a lower reliability might, in some cases, support playing down, but a high one might not.
Okay, reliability matters. What's the third thing?
Medals. Your track record. If you've consistently won medals at that lower level you're trying to enter, it makes it much less likely they'll approve your request to play down again.
So past performance is key.
Very key. And for doubles, they'll look at your partner's rating and reliability too. It's a combined assessment.
That sounds pretty thorough. They're looking at the number, the confidence in the number, and your actual results.
Exactly. It's a fuller picture.
You mentioned some examples in the source material. Can we walk through those? I think that would really help clarify how it works.
Sure. Let's do that. Example 1. Imagine you're a doubles pair. Your DUPR is 3.7. Your partner's is 3.9. You want to enter the 3.49 and below division.
Okay. Can they request to play down?
Let's check. First, the threshold. They look at the higher player, the 3.9 partner. 3.9 minus the 0.250 buffer is 3.65. Is 3.65 below the 3.49 limit?
No, it's still above.
Correct. So you fail criterion 1, the rating threshold. Let's say the partner's reliability is low, maybe 52% okay. You might pass that bit individually. But third, medals. If this pair has won multiple medals before in 3.49 and under,
then they fail the medals test too.
Right. So failing on rating threshold and medals, very unlikely your request to play down gets approved.
Makes sense. What about example 2?
Okay, example 2 is a singles player. Their DUPR is 4.0. They want to enter the 3.0 to 3.99 division.
Okay, threshold check.
4.0 minus 0.250 is 3.75. Does 3.75 fit within the 3.0 to 3.99 range?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so they meet criterion 1. But let's say this player has previously won multiple singles medals in that same 3.0 to 3.99 division.
Ah, the medals criterion again?
Exactly. Even though they meet the rating threshold, that history of winning at that level means they probably failed the medals criterion. So request likely denied.
Got it. Okay, one more example to lock it in.
Sure. Example 3, doubles again. Your DUPR is 3.7, partners at 3.5. You want to play in the 3.49 below division.
Right. Higher player is 3.7.
Yep. So 3.7 minus 0.250 is 3.45. Is that within the 3.49 and below limit?
Yes, just.
Good. So criterion 1 is met.
Yeah.
Let's say your reliability is high, 100%. That's fine. Doesn't disqualify you. And crucially, let's say neither you nor your partner has any history of winning medals in the 3.49 and below division.
Okay, so no previous wins at that level.
Incorrect. In this case, you meet the threshold, reliability is fine, and you meet the medals criterion by not having won. So it's quite likely this request would be approved.
Those examples really help illustrate the process. And it's vital, as the info stressed, that just requesting doesn't mean you get approval. The tournament director has the final say.
Absolutely crucial point. The TD needs to look at the whole tournament, ensure fairness, competitive balance. They have the ultimate call. We've got an interesting question today about tournament entry and skill levels changing over time. It's a situation I bet a few people have wondered about.
It touches on how those ratings work in practice for actual events.
Exactly. So here's the setup. Someone enters a tournament way back in April. Their DUPR score at that moment, 3.83. By the time August rolls around, their DUPR score has jumped a lot.
How much are we talking?
It's gone up to 4.56.
Wow, okay. From 3.83 to 4.56, that's tough. Yeah, that's a substantial leap, not just a minor fluctuation.
What actually happens now?
You wouldn't expect them to get to play in that original 3.53.99 category anymore.
Even though that's where they were when they paid their entry fee and signed up way back when.
Yeah, the timing is key, but also the magnitude of the change. That jump from 3.83 to 4.56 is generally considered a substantial change. It clearly indicates they're playing at a higher level now. Based on the typical rules and how tournament directors usually handle this, the most likely outcome is they'll be moved.
Moved up.
Most tournaments will have rules about using the most current, accurate rating available, often checking it around the time registration closes or just before the event schedule is finalized.
Okay, that makes sense from a competitive fairness standpoint, I suppose.
Okay, let's shift slightly. How is Pickleball Australia actually implementing all this? It's a big change, must involve a lot behind the scenes.
Oh, definitely not just flicking a switch. PAA is doing several things. They're working with their software provider, probably Pickle Brackets tournaments, which most events use.
Right, the main platform.
Yeah, to make sure DUPR integrates smoothly. A huge part is education, getting resources out to players like you and me, and also to the tournament directors, so everyone understands how it works.
Training for the TDs is key, I imagine.
For sure. Ongoing support for them is a priority. Giving them clear guidelines on how to interpret the ratings, the reliability scores, how to handle those requests to play down fairly. It's more than just software updates.
Makes sense. And what about the tournament directors themselves? What's their role in making this work on the ground?
TDs are absolutely pivotal. Their job is to set up the tournament divisions using the official DUPR rating ranges. They might even need to add new divisions, like maybe a 4.0 plus category, if the player ratings show a need for it now.
To reflect that shift we talked about earlier.
Exactly. They'll also need to check registrations, potentially move players if they're clearly in the wrong division based on their DUPR rating.
Yeah.
And obviously, from now on, they run the whole tournament using DUPR for ratings and seeding.
Okay, so PAA sets the stage, TDs run the show day to day. What about us, the players? What are we being asked to do?
Right, several key things for players. First, and most important, if you haven't already, get yourself registered with DUPR. Create that account.
Step 1, register.
Step 2, link your PAA profile to your new DUPR account. There should be instructions on how to do that.
Okay, link accounts.
Step 3, when you sign up for tournaments, use your DUPR rating. That's the number that counts now.
Use the DUPR rating. Got it.
Also, PAA is asking for a bit of proactivity. If you've already signed up for future events with your old PAA rating and, are strongly suspect, your DUPR rating puts you in a higher category.
Be honest about it.
Yeah, they're asking players to go in and adjust their registration themselves. And similarly, if you've been winning a lot of medals at one level, they're encouraging you to think seriously about signing up for the next level up. Fair play.
Right. Play where your skill level truly is. I can already hear the courtside chats now. What's your DUPR number?
Exactly. It'll be the new topic of conversation.
It sounds like manageable steps, though. But, the official comms did mention potential gremlins, teething issues with a new system like this.
Yeah, and that's realistic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rolling out something this big across the country, it's rarely perfect from day one.
True.
So PAA is asking for a bit of patience and understanding from everyone while the system beds in, while TDs get used to it, while players figure out their new ratings. There might be hiccups.
And they also want us to remember the rating isn't just one number in isolation.
Right. Your DUPR rating plus that reliability factor.
Yeah.
It's all meant to work together to give a more realistic, accurate view of your playing ability right now.
And the big picture goal is a better tournament scene for everyone.
That's the aim. Encouraging everyone to work together, be realistic about their level, compete fairly, so that tournaments are enjoyable, competitive, and people have a genuine shot at medals in the division that actually matches their skill.
That's a good way to frame it. Adds a layer to just thinking about the number itself. Okay, so let's tie this all together. The big takeaway here. Australian pickleball is moving to DUPR. It's about getting more accurate, consistent, globally recognized ratings.
Yep, and it will directly affect how you sign up for and play in sanctioned events, hopefully for the better, benefiting players and the sport's growth. And remember, your DUPR rating might look different to your old PAA one. Take time to understand it. Check the guidelines about playing down if you think it applies during the transition, but be realistic about it.
Yeah, it's a new system. Understanding it takes time. Maybe chat about it with fellow players, share experiences as you start using it.
Definitely.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.
See ya.